All right, welcome. Today we're diving deep into Diamond Duels, a game that seriously puts you in the manager seat. We're going to look at how its amazing customization system makes you face some tough calls, build a team that's truly yours, and, really forge your own path to victory. So, you ever wonder what takes a sports game from just being good to being truly great? For me, it's all about strategic depth. It's that feeling that your choices, the ones you make, actually matter. And honestly, Diamond Duels is built from the ground up on that exact idea. At its heart, the game is all about that classic one-on-one showdown. You know the one, the pitcher on the mound staring down the batter at the plate. Every single pitch is a battle, and you play it all out over a full 9 innings. And the goal? It's as simple and classic as it gets. Score more runs than the other guy. The game sticks to all the standard rules you'd expect. 3 outs, 9 innings. It really gives you that authentic baseball feel right there on your tabletop. Okay, so let's start with the basics. This simplified way to play really gets you into the absolute core of the game, which is that constant back-and-forth mind game between the pitcher and the batter. The best way to think about it is like a high-stakes game of rock, paper, scissors. Both you and your opponent secretly pick a pitch, you reveal them at the same time, and then you check a little chart that tells you who outsmarted who, all before a single die is even rolled. So check this out. If the pitcher throws a curveball and the batter totally calls it, boom, the batter gets a huge +2 advantage on their roll. But if you guess wrong, say you're looking for a changeup but get a fastball, you're starting at a disadvantage. It's fast, it's simple, and it's surprisingly tactical. But okay, that's just the appetizer. Now we get to the main course. Let's talk about where this game really opens up and shows its strategic genius, the advanced rules. This is where you stop just guessing pitches and start really managing an at-bat. Right. With the advanced rules, things get way more interesting. You're not just guessing the type of pitch anymore. Now, you also have to think about its location. Is it high and tight, low and away? This adds a whole new layer, turning every pitch into this really satisfying puzzle. And wow, just look at what that extra layer of complexity does to the duel chart. It explodes from just a few simple matchups into this detailed grid of possibilities. That simple mind game we talked about, it's now a full-on chess match, and it happens on every single pitch. All right, now this is where the game, for me, really becomes something special. This is where you, as the manager, get to actually build your team's identity. And you do it all before the first pitch is even thrown, but it affects literally everything that comes after. It all boils down to this one number, 4. That's it. You get just 4 skill points to shape your entire team. And these aren't just abstract points. They're the DNA of your team's philosophy. And this is the really clever part of the whole system. There are no free lunches. For every single +1 skill point you give to a player, you absolutely have to assign a -1 weakness somewhere else on your team. You can't just build a team of all-stars. You have to make these tough, realistic choices, just like a real manager would. So you've got to make a choice. What's your team's identity going to be? Are you going to build a lineup of sluggers who just crush fastballs, or maybe a super fast team that creates chaos on the bases? Or maybe you want a defense that's just a brick wall. It's up to you to decide what your team is good at. And what's really cool is how flexible this all is. You can make your star hitter an absolute monster against curveballs, and then, and this is the key, you can hide that required -1 weakness on, say, your backup catcher's defense. It lets you create these powerful specialists while trying to patch up your team's holes. So we've been talking about these little +1 points, but what do they actually do in a game? Let's walk through a real in-game example so you can see how just one of those choices you make before the game can totally change what happens on the field. Okay, picture this. It's a classic baseball situation. You've got a runner on base, your batter hits a deep fly ball, and the outfielder makes the catch for an out. Now, that runner has a choice. Do they try to tag up and advance to the next base? Normally, that's a really tough call, right? You need a 5 or a 6 on a 6-sided die. That's only a 33% chance of making it. Most of the time, you're probably not going to risk it. But this is where that decision you made before the game even started comes back into play. Remember those 4 skill points? What if you decided to spend just one of them to give this particular runner a +1 bonus to their speed? And just like that, the entire equation flips. That +1 gets added to their dice roll. So suddenly, they don't need a 5 or a 6 anymore. Now, a 4, a 5, or a 6 is good enough to be safe. I mean, look at this. The difference is huge. A single choice you made before the game even began took this player's chance of success from a risky 1-in-3 shot and turned it into a 50-50 coin flip. You fundamentally changed what your team is capable of doing.
So, what's the big picture here? What does all of this add up to? Well, it's about so much more than just playing a baseball game. It's about building a team with a real personality, a real identity.
And that is what makes this whole customization system so brilliant. It pretty much guarantees that no two teams will ever be the same. Your team will have its own special strengths, and just as important, its own weaknesses that your opponent can try to exploit. It really becomes your team.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Your decisions matter. They have consequences, from the moment you put your roster together all the way to that final out. Every +1 and -1 tells the story of the team you chose to build.
So, in the end, the game leaves you with that ultimate question that every manager has to face. You've been given the tools. Now, how are you going to build your champion? Are you going to dominate with sheer power or with lightning speed? The choice and the strategy is all yours.